Okay, write these numbers in order side. Start with the smallest number. It's easier if we give them all the same amount of decimal places. So I'm giving this one decimal place, I'm giving this one decimal place. Now I can just treat them as small normal numbers, so I know that 460 smallest, so 4.60. I'll put a ring around it so I know that I've done it. That's going to be 4.65. So 4.56, then 5.04, then 5.46, and 5.60. Right, 7.5 is a decimal number. Now, I'll be honest with you, I know that 7.5 is 7.5, but if you didn't, just use your calculator. Okay, let's write 7, so I have to use shift and this function. Okay, so 7 and 1 over 2. Just press equals, S to D, it'll do it for you. 30% of this shape, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, if there's 10, I'll trade 3 in. There's another 10, because there's 20, so I have to trade in another 3. That's 30%. Right, 40% is a decimal. Now, percent, the word actually per means divide, and cent means out of 100. So I have to do 40 divided by 100. I'll use my calculator for everything, because it's a calculator paper. S to D, 0.4. 0.87 is a fraction. So if you think about that like the unit value table, this is 8 tenths, this is 7 hundredths, so that's really 87 hundredths. Okay. Right, 19 over 16 is decimal. Again, your calculator will do it for you. 9 over 16, S to D, 0.5625. If you don't happen to have that calculator, it's just 9 divided by 16, and it gives you the same answer. Here's a map of Great Britain. The map shows temperatures at cities at midnight. Which city had the lowest temperature at midnight? That's going to be Edinburgh. No, it's going to be Newcastle. That's -6. On Brighton, the temperature rose by 5 degrees between midnight and 20th and midday on the 21st. What was the temperature at Brighton on midday on the 21st? So Brighton is -2. It rose by 5, so it's -2 plus 5. I'm going to use my calculator to do that. Plus 5 equals 3. At midnight on the 20th of January, the temperature in Nottingham was halfway between the temperature in Truro and the temperature in Edinburgh. What is the temperature in Nottingham? Right, Truro is 3 degrees, and the other town was Edinburgh, which is -5 degrees. So halfway between. Now to halfway, I'm going to add them together. 3 plus -5, and I'm going to divide it by 2, which is -1. The other way you can think about it, if you think about it on a number line, so let's just count between, I've got 2, and then this one here is going to be -4, and I've got 1, and it's going to be -3, and I've got 0, and I've got -2, and my middle point is 1. Write down the coordinates of point C, along the corridor up the stairs, so it's going to be 5 across, 3 up, put in brackets. Write down the coordinates of midpoint AB. Now the midpoint is the middle point. If I draw a line, the middle point is here, okay, which is 2, 4. The other way you can think about this is that A is 1, 3, B is 3, 5. Now if you wanted to do 1 plus 3 divided by 2, you get 4 divided by 2, which is 2. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that's where you get 2, 4 from. On the grid, mark with across the point D, so that A, B, C, D is a square. So let's just join these up. Now this is obviously going to be a right angle. Now if you think of a square, these two are going to be parallel because that's the property of a square. And this is also going to be parallel. Let's double check, all 4 sides are the same length. This is right angle, that's right angle, that's right angle. So all of these, let's label this D. And let's actually even put a cross on it to make sure. Oh, it says a cross. Let's make sure it's a cross. Diagram shows a shape with one line of symmetry, which goes straight down the middle. Work out the area of the shape. Now, it might be tempting to think that this line is the same length as that line. That's not the case. So it's not really like we're dealing with like 2 rhombus split together. Let's add some measurements. It'll be helpful if I knew the entire measurement here, and that's going to be 15 plus your 10, which is your 25 centimetres. Okay, and now we've got something we can sort of work with. So I'm going to actually split up here. Now you may think that this one here is going to be a parallelogram. It's not, it's a trapezium. Okay. And that's the easiest way to break these up. You can break them up into like a triangle, then another triangle, then add them all together, or make them up into a big square, but I think two trapeziums is definitely going to be the easiest. Right, so this length here, if all of it's 25 and this is 4, that means this little bit here is going to be 25 minus 4, which is 19 centimetres. Now your trapezium is your top plus your bottom times your height divided by 2. Now because it tells us this is a one-line symmetry, we do know that the height is going to be 6. If it didn't say one-line symmetry, we would not know that, and it's not good to guess. So the top is 19 plus 25 plus your bottom times your height divided by 2. So let's do that. 19 plus 25 equals times 6 divided by 2. So I know one of them equals 132. So I've worked out one of these, so like all this red stuff. Two of them, and they're both the same, so I'm going to have to double it, which is 264. Let's just do the units, because that's in centimetres, it's going to be centimetres squared. 240 counters in a bag. Counters are green, yellow or blue. 3/5 are green, 1/4 are yellow. Work out number of blue counters in a bag. Now, we could add these together, take them away from 1 to find out what fraction it is, but I'm going to work out the numbers of each. So if we think 3/5 is 240, we can work out how many of the greens, so 3/5 times 240. I'm just going to type it into my calculator. 3/5 times 240, which means there's 144 of those. That's going to be 1/4 of 240. And I'm not going to leave anything to chance, I'm just going to put 1/4 of 240 equals 60. And I'm going to add them together and then find the difference of 240. So plus 144. Add them together, I get 204. Okay, but 240 is the total, so I'm going to subtract 204. I can do it in my head, but I'm not going to want to use a calculator because it's calculator paper. That's alright. 240 minus 204. Okay, and the answer is 36 counters. Stan's driving school. First 2 lessons are £12.75. All other lessons are £20. He has 5 lessons. So let's work it out. First lesson is 12.75. Second lesson is 12.75. And all the rest of them are going to be £20. 20, 20, 20. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just using my calculator to add these up. 12.75 plus 12.75 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. S to D. So the answer is going to be 85.5. But bear in mind we're dealing with money, so it's got to be £85.50, because you'll never say to your friend, oh, you owe me £85.5. You'd say £85.50. Okay. Leah has some lessons with Stan's driving schools. The total cost is £30.5, so £305.50. Work out how much lessons Leah has. Well, we know that Leah must have had the first 2 lessons, so I'm going to do 305.50. Take away 12.75, which would be the first lesson, and then take away 12.75 again. Okay, and then all I'm going to be left with is the ones that cost £20 each. So we'll do 305.5, take away 12.75. I'm going to press equals between these, just because I'm subtracting, which means this is 280. So all I'm left with is the lessons that cost £20. So I'm going to have to do 280 divided by 20. I want to use my calculator for that. Which equals 14 lessons. So it's going to be 14 lessons. Rohan plays for the village cricket team. Here are a number of runs he scored in the 6 games. Find the range. Right, the range is highest take away lowest. So the highest is 67. Lowest is 4. Again, the calculator paper, just trust your calculator more than your actual brain. So the answer is, my range is 63. Find the mean of the scores. So means you add them all up and divide by the amount of scores. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be total divided by 6. Let's add them up. 12 plus 4 plus 5 plus 67 plus 32 plus 54. I'm actually going to write it here, just so I can get some method marks if for some reason I get this wrong. Equals, so it's 204 over 6, which is 34. Sometimes you mean you can get decimal, even though this is a whole number, it's good, but if you've got decimal. All I've done here is just write numbers out again, so it does actually fit on the page. One of the 6 numbers is picked at random. Find the probability a row hand scored more than 50 runs in a game. So the ones he scored more than 50 is this one and that one. So it's going to be 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 out of 6. It doesn't say put it in the simplest form, so that's fine. But if you want to, it is a third. But 2 out of 6 is an acceptable answer. Here's part of Danny's electricity bill. Work how much Danny has to pay for the units of electricity she's used. So first of all, we need to work out how much, and how much is the difference. So I'm going to put 2968, take away 2675. I'm going to use a calculator because I just don't trust my math skills. 2968 minus 2675 equals 293. So he's used 293 units. There are 18p each, so 293 times, now 18 pence. I always like to change this to a decimal, so it's 0.18. But 18, you could times it by 18 and give me an answer in pence, but obviously I'm doing mine in pounds. So 293 times 0.18 ST. So now it's £52.74p. Pounds. Okay. Now I just want to be clear on this. If I wrote that, my answer is now incorrect. It's just a nonsensical answer. So I would put £52.74p or 5274 pence. Either answer is acceptable. The factory makes 1,500 cans per minute. The factory makes cans for 8 hours a day. Each can is filled with 330 millilitres of cola. How much cola is needed to fill all the cans that are made each day? Give your answers in litres. Okay, so this is in millilitres. So let's just do it. So 1,500 cans per minute. So a minute equals 1500. To make it into an hour, okay, we're going to have to times it by 60. And it's 8 hours a day, so I'm going to have to times that answer by 8. So let's just get this bit out of the way. 150 times 60 to 60 minutes an hour, which is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Times it by 8. Okay, 7, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how many cans are made in an 8 hour day. Each can is filled up with 330. So I'm going to have to times this by 330 millilitres. Okay, 2, 3, 7, 6, 2, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this answer is in millilitres. And that's how much cola is needed to fill the cans that are made up each day. But it's not in litres, so you need to think of how many millilitres are in a litre. Now the conversions are actually the same as when you use centimetres to metre. So milli, so I'm actually going to do it a bit of a weird way. I'm actually changing it to centilitres. Okay, because people tend to know that there's 10 millilitres in a centilitre. Okay, which is 2, 3, 7, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just 10 less. People tend to know that there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So I'm just going to cross off 100. So 2, 3, 7, 6, 0, 0. And that's how many litres. Thank you. Joe changes £200 into round. How much does she get? So rounded there, pounds is there, so she changes £200 into round. So I'll get a ruler. Up to here. Okay, and I'll go across. So it's one here, 2,600 rounds. Second part. Okay, Simon has £100 and 370 rand. He goes to a shop where you can spend both pounds and rand. He wants to buy a computer, or a watch, or a camera. Which of these items can Simon afford to buy? You must clearly show your answer. So now we want to work out how much money he totally has. He's got £100, but then we have to work out what £3,700 is. Now we might do this in two separate ways. This doesn't actually go up to 3,700. So I'm first going to convert 3,000 up by starting here, going along, and then going down. Okay. And I've got this number here. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know here to here is 5. Okay, and that makes 20. 20 divided by 5 is going to tell me exactly how much each space is going to be. So each space is actually going to be 4. So it's 2. So this is 228. Okay, I'm going to write it down. So it's £228. But that was just 3,000. I need to also add on the 700. 700 between 6 and 8, so it's there. Go to the line. Go back down. Okay, so 4, 1, so it's 40, and I've got 3 spaces. So it's 40, and we know each one of these is actually going to be 4. So it's 44, 48, 52. Let's go back to that one. Okay, plus 52. Let's add all these up. Calculate for that. 100 plus 228 plus 52 equals £380. So I know he's got £380 in total. He can't afford a camera. You can't afford a computer. Oh, sorry, you can afford a camera. You can afford a computer. You can't afford a watch. So I'm going to say he can afford a computer. I'm going to say with just with £20 change, just so they know what I'm talking about, or a camera with £5 change. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 2x minus 3 from the values of minus 2 to 3. Now let's do the graph table of values, x, y. Sometimes you're given this, but at this moment not. Minus 2 to 3 means you've got to start minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, because we know it's a straight line graph, you don't actually have to do every value, because it's going to be a straight line, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because it's good practice. So I'm doing 2 times the value of x, which I'm going to put in brackets, minus 3. I've put it in brackets because sometimes your calculator will do BIDMAS, and that's not really what you wanted to do, but if you put it in brackets, it'll always do it the correct way. I'm going to use the back button on this calculator, change that to 1. Just minus 5, use back. Change that to 0, just minus 3. So that should be minus 5. I was on my calculator for that. 1. Minus 1. And you should notice by now that these have actually got a pattern going to these. So these always go up in 2s. And we would have known that they've gone up in 2s because there's 2x there, and 2x is a gradient. Minus 3 and 7 means I have to make sure there's a space of 10. Let's see if there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I'm just going to just put it straight on. I'm just going to put, sorry, 3 to go up the top. 3, 2, 1, 0. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. I'll draw my axes in. Just going to rub this one out. That as well. My axis going across as well. So it's minus 2 to 3, so a 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2. I don't know why people still having a problem around here for getting this right, but just make sure it all goes up nice and linear. Yeah. Also, if this is not a straight line, I know I've done something wrong. So minus 2, minus 7, minus 2, minus 7 is there. Minus 1, minus 5 is here. 0, minus 3 is there. 1, minus 1 is here. 2, minus 1, and 3, 3. Let's just join up all the dots because it is a straight line. Yeah, that's my answer. Now, there is another way I can get my table of values. If I've got a decent calculator like this, turn it on. If I do shift in mode, I've got one of these, so I have to do setup. I've got one of these that says table, which is 3. F of x, don't get confused by that, that's just your graph. So 2x, and I've got an x here, if I press alpha and x, minus 3. I'm starting at -2. I'm ending at 3. I'm going up in ones. And that's my table of values there. So -7, 5, 3. If I scroll down, -1, 1, 3. To get back, it's just mode and 1. Back to my normal thing. The other thing we can think of this is if we do y equals 2x minus 3. -3 is my y-intercept, which is this value here. And my 2x means for every 1 I go across, I'm going up 2. Go across 1 up 2, I'm here. Go across 1 up 2, I'm here. Go across 1 up 2, I'm here. That's the other way you can answer that. Here are two fractions. Which of these fractions has a value closer to 3/4? You must clearly show your answer. Okay. Now, there's two ways we could do this. We can make them all have the same denominator and then compare, or we can change them into fractions. Now, first one, I'm going to change them into fractions, and I'm going to do them to the same denominator. Now, my calculator will change it to a fraction for me. I won't have to do anything. If I turn it on, and I do 2/3. Okay, press S to D. 0.6 recurring. That's 0.6 recurring. The other way you could do it is I could just do top divided by bottom, and then S to D. Come on, 0.875. Now 3/4 is 0.75. Okay, so I'm just going to write this out. 2/3 equals 0.6 recurring. 7/8 equals 0.875, and 3/4 equals 0.75. Now, if we work out the differences between them, difference between that one and that one, 0.75 minus 0.6. I'll just put loads of 6's in, get 6 recurring. So this is 0.083 recurring. And the difference between these two, I want to put 0.875 minus 0.75, 1/8. So it's 0.125. Now, which one of these two numbers is closer? It's going to be that, because it's a 0. So I'm going to say that 2/3 is closer to 3/4. Now, the other way we can do this, if you wanted to make them have the same denominators, so it's 2/3, 7/8 is closer to 3/4. We need to find the lowest common multiple of 3, 8 and 4. Of 8 and 4, it's going to be 8. So the lowest common multiple of 3 and 8. It's going to be 3 times 8, which is 24. So I need to write all of these fractions over the denominator 24. 8 times 3 is 24, so if I do 7 times 3, it's 21. 3 times 8 is 24, so if I do 2 times 8, which is 16. 4 to 24 is, I might forget, so I have to do 24 divided by 4, which is 6. So I'll do 3 times 6, which is 18. Now, if we think this one here is 2 24ths difference, and that one there is, so 18, 19, 20, 21, is 3 24ths difference. So again, 2/3 is closer by 2 over 24th, opposed to 3 over 24. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 5, or I don't know if I'm a calculator, so I'm going to trust my calculator. It's calculator paper. 35. 3y times 4y, or 3 times 4 is 12. Y times y is y squared. 3 times 3 is 9, so it's minus 9y. Okay, expand and simplify. T times t is t squared. T times 4 is 4t. 2 times t is 2t. 2 times 4 is 8. Let's just double check. Good. I can always put my two middle terms together. So I've got t squared plus 6t plus 8. Right, so she's driving home from a friend's house. Okay, she drives 10 miles from her friend's house to the motorway. 240 miles on the motorway. 5 miles from the motorway. She takes 20 minutes to drive from her friend's to the motorway. Drives at average speed of 60 miles per hour on the motorway. Takes 25 minutes to drive from the motorway to her house. And she stops for 30 minutes as well. She leaves her friend's house at 9 AM. What time does she get home? Right, so there's a lot of words here, but it's just asking about the time. So we know she starts at 9 o'clock. Okay, So she goes from a friend's house to the motorway, which is 20 minutes, which is nice. So I know I have to add 20 minutes onto that. So now she's on the motorway. Okay. Now the motorway doesn't give us a time, but it has got a speed and it gives us a distance. So I need to do the speed equals distance over time. Okay. Some of you might use it as a triangle speed time. Just remember you've got distance on the top. I'm working out the time, so I'm going to do this algebraically, times by times by time. Speed time equals distance, divided by speed. Time equals distance over speed. Okay. My distance is going to be 240 miles. My speed is 60 miles per hour. I just want to check those miles, and those are miles because sometimes it's giving you different units. Use my calculator to do this. 40 divided by 60 equals 4. So this 4 is, well, think about what unit it's in. So let's just check my unit here with 60 miles per hour, so that's in hours. So it's actually going to be hours. So I'm going to have to add 4 hours. 9 plus 4 equals 13. So it's 13:20. Okay. So now she's left the motorway. She takes 25 minutes. So I've got to add another 25 minutes to make her home, which makes that 13:45. She's home. However, there is a 30-minute break here. Okay, we don't know when that is, but I'm just going to add it onto the end. So I'm going to add 30 minutes for the break. That's where it can get a bit confusing, because if I do 30 to 45, I get, well, let's do it, 30 plus 45 equals 75. So 13:75 is not a time in the real world, because this only goes up to 60. So if I do that 60, I'll make that 14, 15. Okay, so that's the time it's going to go on. Make sure it doesn't say PM or AM. So the answer is 14:25 or 2:15 PM. Now, again, your calculator can help you out. You have got a button here. It's used for degrees, but you can use it to add time. So I'm actually going to focus on this bit here. Okay. So let's say I do 13:45:00, because I have to add the seconds. That's right then. 13:45:00, put in. Okay. And I need to add 30 seconds, so 00, 30, 00. It'll work out to 4:15 for you. So just remember, this button here is good for calculating the time. ABCD is a trapezium. AB is 25, BC is 24, CD is 10. Angle ABC is 90 degrees. Calculate the size of CDA. So CDA is this one here. Now, I'll give you answers to 3 significant figures. You may think of this, maybe it's trapezium. You might think, oh well, it's top plus bottom times height divided by 2. It's your top, it's your bottom. But it's nothing to do with areas, to do with angles. Now normally, if something to do with angles and you haven't got much given, it's going to either be trigonometry or it's going to be Pythagoras. Now I want to split this up to make triangles. If I put a line here, I have a nice right angle triangle. And I know this is 24 centimetres. But don't think this side here is 25, because 25 is all of it. So this 25 is a whole length. So if I actually want this side of the triangle, okay, I have to do 25 minus 10, which will actually make it 15 centimetres. And I know this is going to be a right angle, because I made this a rectangle. So it's this one here I really want to look at. So let's label it up. This side's my opposite, this side's my hypotenuse, this side's my adjacent. Okay. I like to write down all my trig formulas. I don't know how you remember it, but I always remember it as some old hag cracked all her teeth on apples. We want one that's got the opposite and the adjacent, which means be tan. So it's tan of your angle equals your opposite over the adjacent. My opposite is 15 over 24. Okay. But because I need to find the angle, I need to do the tan minus 1 of 15 over 24. So shift tan. I'm just going to write 15 over 24. If you wanted to, you can put that in brackets and find the actual decimal equivalent. Okay, so 32.0053. I've written too many digits here. which is this one here. But I have to add my 90 as well, because it's actually asking for the whole thing. So I'm going to add 90 degrees to that. Okay, which is 112.005. Now it says to 3 significant figure. This is my first significant figure, that's my second, that's my third. This round down, so my answer is 112 degrees. In the 2012 Paralympics, the total number of gold and silver medals won by Brazil was 25. The ratio of number of gold medals that Brazil won to the number of silver medals is 3 to 2. How many silver medals? This is just ratio of amount. So 3 to 2 is 5. Let's make sure I've got it right around. Gold to silver. Okay. We know it's 35, so you've got to think 5 times what is 35. I'm going to do the opposite way, so I'm going to do 35 divided by 5. 7, so I've got to times this by 7. So I've got to times both of them by 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21. How many silver medals is this one here? So the answer is 14. Janet lives in England. He does a search on the internet and sees the type of camera he sells in France and America. In France it costs €126, in America it costs $165. Janet finds out the exchange rate. How much cheaper is the American than in France? Camera in America than in France. Give your answer in pounds. Okay, so I need to convert everything in pounds. So I'll say in France, it's €126. €1 is 0.89. So to get this to pounds, we have to times this by 0.89. 126 times 0.89. 112.14 pounds. Now, if we do it in America, it's 165.24. Now, it's given us the other way around. If we're doing pounds to dollars, we would times it by 1.62, but we're not, we're doing dollars to pounds, so we need to divide that by 1.62. So we've got 165.24 divided by 1.62, so equals 102. Now it says how much cheaper, so we need to subtract it. I've got a negative number because I typed in my calculator the wrong way, but the answer is 10.14 pounds. Group 200 adults were asked which type of magazines they read. Their replies are 82 Red Sports, 80 Red Garden, 84 Red Fashion, 36 Red Sports magazines and Red Garden, 61 Red Sports magazines and Red Fashion, 25 Red Garden magazines and Red Fashion, 14 Red Sports magazines and Red Garden magazines and Red Fashion magazines. Complete the Venn diagram to show this information. Alright, it's not when it says 82 Red Sports magazines, you've got to think 82 is that entire circle. So that includes Sports and Garden, includes all of them, and includes Sports and Fashion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work backwards. One it says 14 Red Sports magazines and Red Garden magazines and Fashion. That's going to go here. So when it says 25 Red Garden and Red Fashion, this 25 includes this 14. So that's really 25 minus 14. I'm doing my calculator for this. 25 minus 14. So that means 11 goes here. Okay, so that's done, that's done. 31 Red Sports magazines and Fashion. So it's this one here. So that's 31. So it's 31 minus 14, which is 17. Cross that off because I've done it. 36 Red Sports and Red Gardens, which is this. So it's 36 minus 14, which is 22. Now, 84 Red Fashion magazines. So it's 84. That's not want to put that, I want to put it there because that'd be incorrect. 84 includes all these three. So I'm going to do 84 minus 11 minus 14 minus 17. Which means this is 42. 80 Red Garden. So this 80 includes all of them. So it's 18 minus 22 minus 14 minus 11. Which means it's 33. And cross it off. 82 Red Sports magazines. So it's 82. And I've got minus these three again. 22 minus 14 minus 17. Which means this is 29. Okay. Now you might think that all of this is completed. But if you notice, I crossed this bit out because this is incorrect. We have to fill out the back bit. Because this is built with somebody who reads none of these magazines. Now we notice out of 200, So we'll do 200 minus every single one of these numbers. Okay, so it's going to be 200 minus 33 minus 22 minus 29 minus 17 minus 14 minus 11 minus 42, and outside should be 32. Okay. It's quite simple to forget this, so please remember to put the last one in. The next question. One of the adults is asked to be chosen at random. Find the probability this adult reads none of these magazine types. Well, because there's 200, we know it's going to be out of 200. None of these is 32, so it's going to be 32 out of 100. Now it doesn't say put it in the simplest form, it doesn't say give it as a decimal, so we can leave it as that. But I'm going to use my calculator just to cancel it down, just to be posh. Does it 4 over 25. It's not asking you to do this, but just do it anyway. If you want it as a decimal, it's 0.16 or 16%. Any one of these answers is correct. It's not that you have to put them all down, just any one will fine. So let's out the probability that he reads exactly 2 types of magazine. So if you think of people who read exactly 2 types, it's this one, and that one. Now you might think about the one in the middle. That's not exactly 2 types. Yeah, that'd be 3 types. If it said 2 types or more, we'd include it, but it doesn't, so we don't. So it's going to be 17 plus 11 plus 22. Okay, and it's 50. Again, it's 50 out of 200. Same rules apply. I don't need to cancel it down because the question doesn't ask me to, but if you want it to be posh, you can. 50 out of 200, which is a quarter. Press S to D, and it tells me 0.25 or 25%. Again, any one of these answers is acceptable. A, B, C, D, E, F is a cross section of a prism. A, B, C, F is a square. What's that? F, C, D, E is a trapezium. ED is 22. The height of the prism is 20. The length of the prism is 80. Work out the volume of the prism. Okay. Now the first thing that we need to do is to work out the. We'll put the measurements in for the square. It's a square, so even though it looks like a rectangle, this has to be 12. That's got to be 12, and that's got to be 12. So normally volume is cross section times the depth. You might want to work out the whole volume of this cuboid and then the whole volume of this trapezoid prism. But I'm going to work out the whole cross section and times it by 80. So my square is just going to be 12 times 12. 12 times 12. So this is 144. Okay, centimetres squared because it's the area. Now, trapezium is your top plus your bottom times your height divided by 2. You need to remember that. I don't know the actual height because my height of everything is 20. But we know this little bit's 12. So if we do 20 minus 12, we get the height of the trapezium, which is 8. So now I can do my sum of 12 plus 22 times by height divided by 2. It's actually about 22. 12 plus 22 equals times 8 equals divided by 2 equals. It's important to put equals because if I do 12 plus 22 times 8, it's going to do this little bit here first. You could just put it in brackets, you'll get the same answer. Yep. Add them together. So plus 144, 280. So the whole thing's going to be 280 centimetres squared. Cross section times depth, I need to times it by my depth, which is 80, which is 22400 centimetres squared. And that's it.